If you love Annie's Ibiza or Oceanus as much as I do, this is your sign to go to the thrift store and make your own. We're gonna take this brand new vintage silk top and turn it into a dress. And we hope it's easy to do. This would be way too short as a dress, so the way that I'm gonna gain length is by turning it into a halter so it can be worn a little bit lower, so that the V will be placed lower on my sternum, and then I'll have the additional straps that I'll have to create for it, and then that should make it long enough to wear. Step one is just removing these sleeves. Now I need to remove the shoulder pads because we don't need those anymore. Save your shoulder pads because sometimes you can put them in other pieces to create more shape. Or you can use them even as cups. Okay, step one is done. The next thing I'm gonna have to do is open the top. For the next step, I'm gonna open up the top seams and then cut off the back, and that's gonna make it a halter shape. I'm gonna give myself extra room to work with, so I'm not going to cut right on the edge. I'll give myself a little over an inch of space. For the next step, I hemmed the top seam in the back of the dress. And I did this slowly because sequins can break your sewing needle, so just be hyper aware of that. Now for the moment of truth, is it long enough? It is, it will be long enough. I'm gonna reduce this measurement, add straps, then take in the rest. Now I'm just going to fold in the excess and then trim it. I pinned a scarf just to estimate where I want this to sit. This is about where I want the dress to sit. So what I'm gonna do now is pin both of the sides and see if I like it, and unpin one side so I can get out of the dress, sew the other side up, add a zipper to the middle, then repin it, make sure I like the measurement, get out of the dress, sew this side, and then it should be ready to go. For the next step, I sewed the sides back together. I inserted a zipper from another project, and then I added 2 darts in the back to give it a better fit. The dress is nearly done, but there are some things that I personally prefer to hand sew so that the finishes will be a little bit nicer. I wanted to make sure that I didn't cut off this really cool print down here, so I left it hanging, and then I'm going to overlap it on the edge of the new hem that I have. The skirt part of it is also going to need a hook and eye. The zipper does feel pretty sturdy, but I like to make sure everything is secure. Okay friends, I'm ready to show you the finished result. Here she is. I love it so much. I feel like this was a successful thrift flip. Let me know your thoughts though. This is the whole look. I was able to use the fabric that I cut from the sides, and that's how I made the halter. And then I just added some hook and eyes, but I think it turned out really well. This is just a closer look at the straps. I feel like they blended really, really nicely. This is the part of the skirt that I did reference. So here's the seam line. As you can see, the greenery goes over the seam line on both sides. I did that on purpose. I wanted to preserve the design. I did not want it to be cut off. So these are the parts that I hand sewed. Also, the back measurements, I realized it wasn't gonna be enough just to pull in the sides. I needed to add some darts in the back. I think the darts worked perfectly. I was able to repurpose a zipper from another project. I think that's a really important part of upcycling if you're gonna be using thrifted pieces, or if you have something at home that you might be wanting to donate, or maybe something that you know is gonna end up, unfortunately, going into a landfill because it can't be recycled. Try to remove any of the useful hardware from those pieces and store them. I do that all the time when a piece is too far beyond repair, and it saves me a lot of money because the cost of trim and sequins and hook and eyes and all of those things, they can really add up when you are upcycling. So I feel like that's one of my favorite tips for anybody looking to upcycle their own outfits. Let me know what you think of this one though. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back to see more.